Shabbat Shalom, everybody at home. Hello. Okay, so we'll begin with a song of welcome. Let's sing about how good it is to see one another and to be seated together. Let's sing Hine Ma Tovu Anayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, attributed to King David. You can find that on page 128. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov, la 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 la. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Well, some of us have been in this building for the better part of the last 24 hours, and for those of you who are not wearing my shoes but have done that as well, welcome back. And if you're coming here for the first time in a week, or the first time in a year, or the first time ever, I want to welcome you. So we are using our Mishkan Tefillah book. That's this blue book here. And our books open from right to left. And that's because we read Hebrew from right to left. However, we want this to be accessible to everybody. And so if you are already at the point where you can read, we've included, for your sake, English characters, so you can follow along in Hebrew but using English, or you can read the translation as well. And we welcome you to do that. And if you have not already done so, I'm going to invite you to power down your devices so that we can help recharge our souls. Welcome. David, good to see you. And so we'll begin our journey through Kabbalat Shabbat and through the Psalms with Psalm 95. And I'll invite you to turn to page 130. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria letzor yishenu, nekadma fanav betoda. Naria, naria letzor yishenu, Bismiro naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. And at the bottom of page 134, we'll sing from Psalm 96, about how the heavens are rejoicing and clapping for joy. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umlo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umlo. Now my new friend David was demonstrating for us how the heavens rejoice and how the seas clap hands, and so we're going to emulate them. And so if you're under the age of 99, I'm going to invite you to join us, okay, by clapping along these two times. So David, can you show us how to do that again?
Well, I'm new, but I'll do my best.
Okay, good. Here we go. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umlo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umlo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umlo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umlo. Ya'alo sarai v'chol asher bo, az yiranenu kol hatzeyar, lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishbot haaretz, yishbot hevel betzedek, ve'amim be'emunato. On page 134. Zamru l'Adonai bechino, bechino v'kol zimra. 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 B'chatzatzrot v'kol shofar, hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai. Let the sea and all within it thunder, the world and its inhabitants. Let the rivers clap their hands. Clap your hands, rivers. Nicely done. Let the rivers clap their hands, the mountains sing joyously at the presence of Adonai. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishbot haaretz, yishbot hevel betzedek, ve'amim b'meisharim. The bottom of page 135, last paragraph. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu להר קודשו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. Let's read. Let's read together at the bottom of page 136 from Psalm 29. A psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings, ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. Adonai over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Sirion like a wild ox. Lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, lie, lie. This part's easy, just lie, lie, lie. Yai, lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, lie, lie. Hi, hi, hi. Lie, 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 lie. Lie. Ya lie, la lie, lie. Ya lie, la la lie. Ya lie, la lie. Ya la 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 lie. Ya lie, lie, lie. Ya la 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 lie. מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בני אלים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז. היי לי לי, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרה קודש. כל אדוני על המים, אל הכבוד הרים. אדוני על מים רבים, כל אדוני בכוח. היי לי לי, כל אדוני בהדר, כל אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון וסיריון כמו בין רמים. Let's look to the bottom, the last stanza on page 137. Adonai oz לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. לי 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 לי. Hi, li, li, li. Hi, li, 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 li. Hi, li, li, li. So we have arrived at page 138, the prayer Lecha Dodi, the poem, which is really kind of a bit of a love song, a wedding march, if you will, because Shabbat is metaphorically a wedding between God and the people of Israel. So we customarily at a wedding would rise to greet the bride as she enters the room. It's a metaphorical bride, of course. But before we greet the bride, I think we should greet one another. So take a moment to turn to someone you haven't met yet, or to go to someone you haven't met yet. And since there's some new faces in the room, that should be easy. And introduce yourself and wish someone a Shabbat Shalom. How are you? Shabbat Shalom.
Wonderful.
Good to
Shabbat
see you.
Shalom. Great to see you.
You brought reinforcements.
My baby sister
Okay.
and my Aunt Susan.
Oh, cool. Great. I'll meet them afterwards.
Absolutely. A little unexpected today.
That's great. All right. So this is the part of the service that once we started, it's hard to stop. It's like a ball in motion that we have. Our tradition is that our prayer is communal, and that's because we are social people, and so once we start, it's hard to stop. So we'll have a time for schmoozing, some more schmoozing after the service. But let's engage in that song of welcome for Shabbat on page 138. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Come, my beloved, let us go and greet the bride. The face of Shabbat we will receive. We'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. La 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 panei Shabbat. Panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishme'anu el ha'miyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shemu tiferet v'litila. Ya la la lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 panei Shabbat. Panei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuvan elcha. Ki mekor haberacha. Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof maaseh במחשבה תחילה. יאללה לי, לה 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 לך אדוני. יאללה לה 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 לקרא כלה. יאללה לה 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 בני שבת. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech kumi ori, ori ori, shir daberi. Kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Yalalai, yalalai lecha Adoni. Yalalai lekra kala. Yalalai penei Shabbat. Penei Shabbat nekabela. And as we reach verse 9, it's our custom to rise and face the entrance. Let's face that entrance, since that's the door that's open. And once we greet Shabbat with a couple of bows, the Sabbath bride, we turn back again and face the room as she enters the room. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha uv'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala, yalalai, yalalai lecha Adoni, yalalai lekra kala, yalalai penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. Well, now that we've done that, we'll sing the psalm for Shabbat, Psalm 92. First, I'm going to tune up again, because there's the one. Okay. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, page 140. Tov lehodor laAdonai, ulzamer leshimcha elyon, ulzamer leshimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunarcha ba'leilot. Alei asur v'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodor laAdonai, ulzamer leshimcha elyon, ulzamer leshimcha elyon. Ki samachtani Adonai b'fa'alecha, b'maaseh yadecha aranein. Ma gadlu ma'asecha Adonai, me'oram kumach shvotecha. Mizmor shir liyom haShabbat, tov lehodor laAdonai, ulzamer leshimcha elyon, ulzamer leshimcha elyon. At the indented paragraph at the bottom of the page, Tzaddik tamar yifrach, ke'erez balvanon yifrach. pizge shetolim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu or yenuvon beseva deshenim verananim yiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlatabo. So having greeted one another and greeted Shabbat, we now greet the angels in our midst, the angels that are sometimes unseen, the angels we sometimes don't even know are there. They could be a friend, they could be the person sitting to our right or to our left, they could be the Spirit of God that accompanies us to and from our homes. And so we'll greet them on page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitechem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And so we've reached the end of our introductory service. I just got the side eye from, yes, that's the beginning of the service. We have a whole warm-up act. Just like we do calisthenics before we do gymnastics, we do spiritual warm-ups before the actual service. So now we're going to start. It's only another 4.5 hours, okay? No, it's not that long. We're just joking with you, okay? But we are going to turn back in our books so that we can all light candles together as we welcome Shabbat. The candle lighting is on page 120. So we're just going back a handful of pages. And I'm going to invite our new friends, the Sans, forgive me, to help us light candles in bench licht. See, this is the true test. Can you or can't you light with one match?
I think so.
We'll see.
The last match?
That is the only match.
Okay.
That's correct.
We've been practicing.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the problem is less the match than the match box. And these candles sometimes need us. Wait, I spoke too soon. We can relight. Okay. Yeah, it happens every week. When the candle goes out, as it always does, it reminds me that it actually takes extra effort to bring holiness into our lives and to welcome Shabbat. It takes a reminder to ourselves to just we have to really concentrate and power down. So let's bring the warmth of Shabbat in together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat. Thank you so much and welcome once more. So we'll turn now to back to page 148. And we'll welcome the transition from day into night. It's hard to tell with these overcast skies. Is it day? Is it night? Is it just snowy? But it doesn't really matter, because no matter what is being spread over the heavens, we're reminded that it's something larger than us, something beyond our control, that God is the master of the universe, of the evening. So let's read together at the bottom of page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from another. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Umavir yom u'meivi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai Tsevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai, Hamariv Aharavim. Let's read together at the bottom of page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form? Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. On page 152, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. On page 154, Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha. Vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha veshinantam lecha v'ribaharta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot ayatecha vehayu letotaf bein einecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai ve'item keroshim lelohechem ahani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. Let's read together at the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And just as our ancestors did in ancient days, marching together, we will metaphorically sway like the waves of the sea that our ancestors passed through as we sing together on the top of page 158. Lai, 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 micha mocha va'elim Adonai, micha mocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osef ele nora tehilot osef ele yai lai 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. On page 160. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים. The top of the following page. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkah shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkah shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Israel. On page 161. I'm going to pick a key here. More than the Jews have kept Shabbat, the philosopher Ahad Ha'am said, Shabbat has kept the Jews in every generation. And so we remind ourselves of that with these words at the top of page 162. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם בריתו עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, שבס לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. And so as we turn to page 164 and then quickly to page 166, we're going to have some time for private meditations. This is time that we use to reconnect with our God, to reconnect with our ancestors, and to reconnect with the spirit of holiness and the desire for us to do good in this world. And so I'm going to invite you to rise in your hearts or to your feet, whichever is most comfortable. We're going to do this as silent Amidah this evening. And so we'll take several moments. You can use the Hebrew words on the right-hand side of the page or the translation. And there are also some creative interpretations on the left-hand side of the page. And we'll rejoin one another in a few moments after we've had a chance for these private prayers. Adonai sevatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens make peace to reign amongst all of us, all Israel, and all the world, and let us say, Amen. All right, everyone, I'm going to take this thing off. Okay. Whew. So we've just concluded the holiday of Purim, which is the holiday which commemorates in ancient Persia the deliverance of our people, reversal of fortune. Like so many other of our stories, they tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. And so some of us have managed to have our Purim feast. And earlier today we read Megillat Esther, the book of Esther, the scroll of Esther. I've got my book form of it right here. And as many of you are, I'm sure, familiar with the story, it's quite a literary work. And it has some really wonderful devices in it. It's one of the few pieces of comedy that are actually in our sacred texts. The other one being, I think, when the prophet Bilam goes to curse the people of Israel. He's a prophet for hire, a prophet for profit, and as on his way riding his donkey begins to engage in some shenanigans, and eventually talks to Bilam, and that, of course, is a little bit of comedy, because, as they say, it takes one to know one, and so if your ass is talking to you, yes. So, in the book of Esther, we have a lot of interesting characters, among whom, of course, are the hero Esther, and another hero Mordecai, and the villain Haman, and then the king Achashverosh, which I always took to meant, because Rosh means head, I always took it to mean like Achashverosh. He's a little like mixed up in the head. Yeah, a little meshugana. And it's more like he's like a couple picnics shy of a basket, if you know what I mean. And he is a bit of a drinker, as we find out in the text. So maybe it's more that he's just a few bottles shy of a six-pack. At any rate, it's easy to read on the surface, and of course that's a fun way to do it, to read on the surface of the story that these characters have certain attributes, but each of them, I think, also have hidden attributes as well. And that's part of the story of Purim, because as you know, or as you may know, part of the fun of Purim is not only reading the book and booing at Haman and cheering for Esther, but dressing up in costumes and wearing masks. And at some point, you get tired of wearing the mask and you take it off. And people go, oh, that's who you are. But that's actually part of the ritual. It's part of one of the commandments of Purim, is to unmask yourself. And the very name Esther, in Persian is Ishtar, has to do with that which is hidden. And it's very interesting because Esther, when she becomes the queen of Persia, she hides her identity, or rather, she doesn't make it known that she is a member of the Jewish people. And of course, this becomes a critical moment in the plot when Haman is insulted by Mordecai for not bowing down to him in the streets. He's a little thin-skinned. He plans to take his revenge on all the Jews, and they cast lots, and on the 14th day of Adar, that's when all the Jews are going to be hung from trees. So, Esther eventually reveals herself. As her uncle says to her, it may just be for this very moment that you were born. And so she reveals herself, she unmasks herself to the king at a banquet, which she has arranged. But she not only outs herself as being Jewish, she also outs Haman for not being the nice and supportive minister that the king thinks he is, but rather a villain and an aspiring mass murderer. So there's a lot of unmasking that goes on. There's a lot of layers and levels. And one of the things I think is interesting is this character of Ahasuerus, the mixed up king, the drunk, who we take to be we take to be a bit of a fool, right? But the text itself goes to great lengths to talk about how the king does all these things to enlarge himself. In fact, the text opens with a description of the vast kingdom of Ahasuerus, which spreads from Hod, which is India, to Cush, which is Ethiopia. So this is a vast empire with many, many cities and states and many, many tongues being spoken. But if that's not enough, and the flow of wine is not enough, he needs to be seen as being really kind of the life of the party, as it were. And so when things start to get a little dull in his 30-day party, he orders his queen to come dance unclothed. That would be Vashti, yes. And Vashti, too, has some real interesting depth to her. We think of Vashti as the queen that got tossed away, but is a foreshadowing of the strong woman that will succeed her, Esther, right? Vashti, too, stands up to the king. It doesn't end so well for Vashti, but she shows some real backbone. And in comparison to everybody else, she seems like a real interesting character. No, but back to Ahasuerus for a moment. He has to wear the robes of royalty, right? He's got to wear purple and turquoise and red. These are the colors of royalty. They're also the colors that are interestingly described in the description of the priestly garb and in the Mishkan, the portable tabernacle in the wilderness. And when the king asks Haman, how should I reward someone who should be honored for saving the life of the king, or for helping the king, Haman, of course, thinks it's him. And so he's, you should, of course, dress him in these royal robes and put him on this royal horse and have him paraded throughout the town. And the king says, that's a great idea, Haman. Go get those things, put them on Mordecai, and you lead him through the town. So there's an element of nobility to Mordecai that we don't really see in his attitude, but rather in his actions, right? Because he saves the king from two plotters who are going to try and assassinate him, and he lets this be known, and that's why he gets rewarded. But he also gently pushes Esther to do the right thing. And so this hiddenness is, to me, very interesting. Now, it's tempting to look for parallels in our modern stories, and it'd be easy to say, oh, well, there are political leaders of all stripes and all nations who are thin-skinned, who are looking to self-aggrandize themselves, and draw some kind of metaphor there. But I want to instead steer back towards the costume element and the mask element, because I think that's actually a really important. Hold on, I'm going to see what I got down here to play with. Oh, hey, look what I've got. It's an incredible. I've got a ball of yarn. Woohoo! Let's play with that. Cats and yarn. It's important for us to unmask ourselves and realize that in all of us, we each have some of the elements of these characters in ourselves. That we have the villain in us at times, and we have the hidden heroine who doesn't even know her own power until she's nudged, and then stands up to power and speaks truth to power. There's the noble person within us, and there's also the buffoon, right? There's the person who acts foolishly, who doesn't realize kind of what's going on around him. And we may think of ourselves as being in charge, even of our own lives, but the truth is that in this universe, there's really only one king, and that's God. And so as we sang Psalm 29 tonight, which was back on page, 140, probably 142, about, no, 136. So it's this, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, ascribe to Adonai, O you divine beings, ascribe to Adonai glory and strength, the glory of God's name. And we get to this part, Kol Adonai bakoach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, vayeshaber Adonai et arze halvanon. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. And I was thinking to myself as we read this, oh, thank you. We have a little jitterbag there. It's easy to read this as like kind of the obvious. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. We're ascribing to Adonai these things. But as we were singing this, I thought to myself, no. The emphasis is on Adonai. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. As if to remind us, it's not our voice. It's not our power. It's not our might that does these things in the universe. It's so easy to forget that we're not in complete control of everything. And so it's good to remember that, and for us not to be the foolish king in our own lives, but to recognize the true power. One last little piece of hiddenness, as you may know, the other thing that's hidden in the book of Esther is God. Adonai is not mentioned once in the whole book. The only time it's even referenced, maybe, and kind of hiddenly, is when Esther decides that she's going to put on sackcloth and fast. She's going to fast. And that's the only act of piety that we kind of see. So God's hidden in this book. We sort of have to uncover and unmask God in our own lives. And so if there's a lesson to be learned from this book, it's that. That and to eat a lot of hamantashen. So, with that, I'll wish you Shabbat Shalom. We'll begin the conclusion of our service as we pray for the speedy recovery of those who are ill in our midst. I'll invite you to turn to page 361, I think. 371, as we are keeping in our thoughts and our prayers those who are ill in our midst. And I'm going to read some names. Gitalea bat Masha Chana, Myron Israel bat ben Rachel, Baruch ben Sarah, Itka Fega bat Gittel, Gila Chaya bat Mordechai Leib v'Gila Leah, Tova Chava bat Chaya Rachel, Tzvi ben Binyamin, Rachel Liba bat Moshe Menachem Mendel v'Gittel, Gittel bat Bela, Aryeh ben Yaakov Mordechai, Ori Yitzchak ben Sarah, Sarah Bell, Louis Dobrin, Angela Eno, Martin Goffin, Fran Lappin, Tanner Light, Megan Magleby, Andrea Sanders, Pete Schwager, Penny Spector, Adina Stern, good to see you here, Adina, Carolyn Williams, Michael Winston, Judy Wolf, and those whose names you wish to share with us at this time as my eyes meet yours. Let's pray for their speedy and complete recovery on page 371. Misheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu, mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We'll turn to page 586 at the bottom of the page, and I'll invite you to rise in spirit or in your heart, whichever is most comfortable. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, lateit gedula leyotze v'reishit, shelo asanu kigoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamohonam, v'anachnu kor'im, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yihye Adonai echad, Ushemo echad. You may be seated. As we reach the final moments of our service, we remember those who have gone before us to their eternal rest. We think of our loved ones whom death has taken from us, either in recent days or at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. And we'll remember their names and their faces as we take a few moments for private meditation. And we'll recite this poem by Hannah Senish. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the stars that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. Zichronam livracha. Let's take a moment to remember those who have gone before us. Thank you. A few quick announcements. I don't see announcements, which actually that's a blessing in and of itself. So I'll just go through. We have this wonderful Shabbat book that our communications coordinator puts together every week with so much care, and so there's lots going on. Tomorrow morning, 9:30, our Shabbat morning service, we celebrate the bar mitzvah of Aaron Berkson, a really fun young guy, and that goes from starts at 9:30. Then on Sunday morning, we have our Sunday Schmooze with our past president, Jathan Janov, on the subject of mastering the art of listening, something which is desperately, desperately needed in our society today. Next Friday night, we have our dinner at the Shul. So if you're around, sign up. It's always fun to have dinner together and to make new friends and see friends we haven't seen in a little bit. Tuesday night, our Rosh Chodesh Women's Group will gather at 6:30 with Dr. Marla Dudak to talk about breast health. And on next Sunday, next Saturday is the bar mitzvah of Silas Grice, another charming young guy. And on Sunday, we have our mitzvah day at 9 o'clock. So come and help us and the Rafi Schwartz Religious School as we prepare sack lunches and hygiene kits for our homeless neighbors. We advocate for social justice and other important mitzvot. And it's never too early to start thinking about Passover. Passover is coming, and our Passover pop-up shop is going to be this Sunday morning from 8:30 to 12:30, and then again on March 19th and 26th from 3:45 to 6:30. Lots of fun things to get for your Seder table and your Passover celebration. And I'll also just give a quick plug that on May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we're installing the Cantor. So Cantor installation celebration weekend. We're going to call the folks at IKEA. They're going to put me together and install me. It's going to be a lot of fun. A great weekend to celebrate. And so with that, I'm going to invite you to rise as we make Kiddush. ויכולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבם, ויכול אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות צברי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קישרנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. L'chaim. All right, and we have here in this basket. Wow, that's the second time I've mentioned basket tonight. One of our own challahs by Moshe from Heritage Bakeries here at Kol Ami. These are the finest kosher challahs in Utah. And if you'd like one, you can get one every week. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Please come get some challah and say hello. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbos, everybody. Oh, of course. So do you belong to a